Your phone buzzes with another urgent alert as a deadline looms and your inbox overflows. This constant pressure can feel like the whole world is unraveling around you. But nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor discovered the secret to standing firm in any storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is not about escaping chaos, but about building an inner citadel of calm that nothing can breach. This is the promise of Stoicism, and it is far more practical than you might think. We will explore 20 hidden Stoic rituals, a complete toolkit for those moments when everything seems to be falling apart. These are not abstract ideas, but concrete practices used for centuries to cultivate unshakable peace. You will learn how to mentally rehearse challenges, transform obstacles into advantages, and find tranquility regardless of your circumstances. How would your life change if you could face any crisis with a calm and steady mind? The first ritual is a profound mental exercise called the Premeditatio Malorum. This translates to the premeditation of evils, but do not let the name alarm you. It is not about pessimism or dwelling on the worst-case scenario. Instead, it is a deliberate practice of anticipation. You proactively visualize potential challenges and setbacks before they occur. Think of it as a fire drill for the mind. Schools and offices conduct these drills not because they expect a fire, but so that everyone knows exactly what to do if the alarm ever sounds. That preparation removes the element of panic and replaces it with a calm, practiced response. The Stoic philosopher Seneca captured the essence of this when he wrote, "He who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." By mentally rehearsing a difficult conversation, a project failure, or a personal loss, you are not inviting misfortune. You are vaccinating your mind against the shock and disorientation that adversity often brings. The event itself might still happen, but its ability to derail your inner peace is dramatically diminished. It loses its power to surprise you. So what is one future worry that currently holds some power over you? Take a moment to mentally rehearse it today. See yourself facing it with composure and resourcefulness. This simple act of preparation begins to build that inner citadel, stone by stone. That mental rehearsal carves out a space of calm readiness within you. But what happens when a crisis is already upon you, when the world feels like it is closing in? The second ritual offers a dramatic shift in perspective, a practice the Stoics called the view from above. When a problem feels overwhelming and all-consuming, you deliberately pull your mind back, as if you were in an airplane climbing high above the city. From that new vantage point, the bustling streets and individual buildings that seemed so massive from the ground begin to shrink into a tiny, intricate pattern. Your personal struggles, which felt like the entire world just moments before, now appear as just one small part of a vast, sprawling landscape. This is not about dismissing your feelings, but about seeing your situation in its true proportion. Marcus Aurelius constantly practiced this in his private writings, reminding himself, "Remember that all of this has happened before and will happen again, the same plots from beginning to end and the same actors." He would contemplate the vastness of the cosmos and the endless flow of time, recognizing his own brief life as a single, fleeting moment. How immense does that argument with a coworker feel when held against the backdrop of a billion stars? How permanent does a financial setback seem when placed alongside the rise and fall of ancient empires? The goal is to loosen the tight grip that a problem has on your mind. The problem itself may not vanish, but its power to dominate your entire consciousness is broken. You realize you are part of something much larger, and this realization brings a profound and immediate sense of calm. The next time a situation threatens to swallow you whole, try this. Close your eyes for just a moment and mentally zoom out. See your street, your town, your country, the whole planet spinning silently in the immense blackness of space. From that cosmic perspective, you can finally breathe again and see your challenge for what it truly is. That cosmic perspective helps us see the size of our problems, but what about their sting? The third ritual is perhaps the most radical of all, a complete reorientation of the heart known as Amor Fati, the love of fate. This is not passive resignation, not a quiet sigh of giving up. It is the active, enthusiastic embrace of everything life brings you. Every setback, every loss, every piece of so-called bad luck is accepted not as a burden to be endured, but as a necessary and beneficial part of your story. The Stoic teacher Epictetus, who was born a slave, gave us the essential key. He said, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." This is the core of Amor Fati. You align your will with the unfolding reality of the universe, rather than exhausting yourself by fighting against it. Consider the historical example of the philosopher Zeno. He was a wealthy merchant who lost everything in a shipwreck, his entire fortune swallowed by the sea. A passive person might have succumbed to despair, seeing only ruin, but Zeno embraced his fate. He saw the loss not as an end, but as a beginning. With his old life gone, he walked into Athens and began studying philosophy, eventually founding the Stoic school itself. His greatest tragedy became the very event that gave his life its deepest purpose and meaning. That is the transformative power of loving your fate. It takes the very thing that seems to break you and forges it into your greatest strength. Can you look back on a past difficulty, a heartbreak or a failure, and see how it shaped the person you are today? That moment, which you may have once cursed, likely taught you a vital lesson, built your resilience, or steered you onto a better path. Amor Fati is about choosing to see that red thread of purpose in every event, starting right now. Loving your fate is a powerful mindset, but how do you apply it when you are stuck in a traffic jam and late for an important meeting? The fourth ritual provides the answer, a moment-by-moment filtering exercise known as the Dichotomy of Control. This is the core Stoic principle put into daily practice. The philosopher Epictetus, whose words form the bedrock of Stoicism, opened his manual with this very idea. He wrote, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, our office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. Your daily ritual is to constantly sort the events of your life through this simple filter. On one side, place what is truly up to you, your judgments, your actions, your efforts, and your responses. On the other side, place everything else, the weather, the past, other people's thoughts, and the traffic light that just turned red. The profound mental calm comes from consciously directing all your energy and concern solely to the first category, and releasing your attachment to the second. So you are in that traffic jam. You cannot control the sea of brake lights ahead of you, the timing of the lights, or the accident that caused the delay. These are external events. They belong in the second category. What do you control? You control your breathing. You control whether you clench the steering wheel and curse your luck, or you accept the situation as it is. You control whether you use the time to listen to an audiobook or simply sit in silence. You control how you will explain your lateness when you arrive. By focusing only on what is within your power, the frantic frustration evaporates. It is replaced by a quiet, resourceful calm. The problem has not disappeared, but your internal struggle with it has. This ritual turns every minor irritation and major crisis into a simple question: where can I effectively focus my effort right now? The answer always points you back to your own mind and your next action, the only real territories you ever govern. The dichotomy of control carves out a space for action, but what fills that space with meaning? The fifth ritual offers a surprising answer, a practice known as negative visualization. This might sound similar to the mental rehearsal we began with, but its purpose is entirely different. Premeditatio prepares you for potential future troubles, while negative visualization deepens your gratitude for the blessings you already possess. It is the deliberate act of periodically imagining the loss of the people, the health, and the comforts you currently enjoy. This is not a morbid fixation on loss, but a powerful tool to shatter the veil of familiarity. We so easily take our lives for granted, forgetting that everything we have is on loan from fortune and can be recalled at any moment. Seneca wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied but wasteful of it." He urges us to value our time and our possessions not when they are gone, but precisely while we still have them. So how does this work in practice? As you hug your child before they leave for school, pause for just a second and truly consider what it would feel like if they were not there. When you come home to a warm house on a cold evening, consciously imagine what it would be like to have no shelter. This momentary, vivid contemplation does not invite tragedy. On the contrary, it instantly snaps you back to the present, flooding you with a profound and immediate appreciation for the very things your mind had filtered out as ordinary. The warmth of the house is no longer just a fact, it is a gift. The sound of your child's laughter is no longer background noise, it is a treasure. Your partner's presence is not a given, but a daily miracle. The Stoics called this the art of taking nothing for granted. It transforms your entire experience of life from one of passive ownership to one of active, joyful appreciation. What is one thing in your life that has become so normal you barely notice it? Try this ritual with that one thing today. See how its value is instantly restored, not through its loss, but through the simple, conscious act of recognizing how precious it truly is. Gratitude for what we have anchors us in the present, but growth requires an honest look at where we have been. The sixth ritual turns the day's end into a quiet classroom, a practice known as the evening review. Before sleep, the Stoics would sit in stillness and conduct a frank, gentle audit of their day. Seneca described this daily reckoning in a letter to his friend Lucilius, writing, "The spirit ought to be brought up for review daily." It was the last task of his day. He would ask his soul, what bad habit have you cured today? What fault have you resisted? In what way are you better? This is not about self-punishment or dwelling on errors, but about calm, objective self-correction. The goal is to see yourself clearly, to acknowledge a misstep with the same detached curiosity a gardener might use to note a wilted leaf, not to tear the whole plant from the ground. A simple structure makes this powerful. Ask yourself just 3 questions. First, what did I do well today? Perhaps you maintained your patience in a frustrating situation, or you completed a difficult task with focus. Acknowledge that victory. Second, where did I fall short of my own principles? Maybe you spoke harshly out of irritation, or you procrastinated on an important goal. Identify the misstep without layering guilt on top of it. And third, what did I learn? This question transforms every experience, good or bad, into a stepping stone. The argument you regret becomes a lesson in choosing words more carefully. The moment of patience you are proud of becomes a blueprint for future behavior. This nightly ritual is how you sand away your rough edges day by day. It is a quiet conversation with your best self, ensuring that tomorrow you can face the chaos with a little more wisdom and a little more calm. That nightly review clears the slate, but the morning offers a fresh canvas. The seventh ritual is its perfect counterpart, the practice of setting morning intentions. Before the day's demands crash over you, you deliberately choose the inner quality you wish to cultivate. This is not about writing a long to-do list focused on external achievements, but about setting a single, guiding principle for your own character. You plant a seed of virtue that will grow throughout the hours to come. Marcus Aurelius gave us the perfect model for this in his meditations. He would remind himself each dawn when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Then he would lay out his intention for the day, saying, I will meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, the unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. But I, seeing the true nature of the good that it is beautiful, and of the bad that it is ugly, cannot be injured by any of them. His intention was to meet the world with understanding and compassion, not irritation or anger. Your own intention can be far simpler. Perhaps today you decide your guiding virtue will be patience. You are not demanding that the world be patient with you. You are committing to embodying patience yourself, no matter what traffic jams, long lines, or frustrating people you encounter. Maybe your intention is courage to speak up in a meeting where you normally stay silent. Or perhaps it is simply presence, a commitment to truly listen when others speak instead of planning your response. This ritual establishes an internal anchor. The storms of the day will come, emails will flood in, plans will change, but you have already decided who you want to be in the midst of it all. The external events are not your focus, your chosen response to them is. So as you prepare for sleep tonight, ask yourself this: what single virtue do I want to embody tomorrow? Let that be the first thought to greet you in the morning, a quiet promise you make to yourself before the world begins to make its demands. That morning intention is a powerful anchor, but what happens when a sudden wave of anger or fear tries to pull you out to sea? The eighth ritual is your mental life raft, a practice known as cognitive detachment from impressions. An impression, in the Stoic sense, is not just a thought. It is the raw, initial data that floods your mind the moment something happens. It is the flash of heat when someone cuts you off in traffic, the sinking feeling when you read a critical email, the immediate sting of an insult. Your automatic reaction is to accept this impression as the absolute truth, to let it hit you directly and dictate your emotions. But the Stoics discovered a hidden space, a crucial pause between that first impression and your full-blown reaction. Epictetus gave us the master key to this space. He wrote, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. The event itself is neutral. It is your judgment about the event, your story about what it means, that creates the disturbance." The ritual is to catch that initial impression like a ball thrown at your face instead of letting it strike you. When someone hurls a ball at you, you do not just stand there and let it hit you in the nose. You see it coming, you put your hands up and you catch it. Now you have it, you can look it over. You can decide what to do with it next. You can throw it aside or you can hold on to it. This is exactly what you must learn to do with your thoughts. Imagine a colleague says your work on a recent project was not up to standard. The first impression is a jolt of shame and defensiveness. Your heart races, your face flushes. The old habit is to let this impression hit you, to immediately believe the story it tells, that you are incompetent, that you are under attack. This is when you deploy the ritual. You catch the ball, you create that mental space, you look at the impression and you interrogate it. Is this criticism entirely true? Is there a single useful piece of feedback buried in the delivery? Is the person having a bad day? Is my worth as a person actually defined by this one piece of work? By examining the impression instead of blindly accepting it, you drain it of its destructive power. The feeling of shame might not vanish completely, but it no longer controls you. You have taken command. You can now choose a calm, rational response instead of a reactive, emotional one. This is the essence of mental freedom, the ability to question every story your mind tries to tell you. This practice of questioning your impressions is a gateway to a deeper discipline, the ritual of rigorous judgment. The Stoics called this the Discipline of Assent, which is the conscious act of giving your agreement only to thoughts that are accurate and rational, while withholding it from those that are distorted and driven by raw emotion. Your initial impression is just a suggestion, a story your mind instantly creates. You are the one who must decide whether to sign your name to it, to make it your official truth. Marcus Aurelius put it with stunning clarity when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power resides in this very moment of assent. An angry impression knocks at the door of your mind, shouting that you have been terribly wronged. The undisciplined mind flings the door open and lets it in, letting it rearrange the furniture and shout from the windows. The Stoic mind hears the knock but pauses. It asks for the impression's credentials. Is this story based on solid evidence, or is it fueled by wounded pride? Is it proportionate to the event, or is it a catastrophic exaggeration? Only after a calm inspection does it decide whether to grant entry. Consider a simple, everyday scenario. You send a detailed text to a friend and see the read receipt, but hours pass with no reply. The first impression is a story of rejection, that you have been ignored, that your message was unimportant. If you give your assent to that story, you feel a knot of anxiety in your stomach. You might draft a follow-up message tinged with irritation. But if you practice the discipline of assent, you catch that story. You examine it. The rational mind offers other, more likely explanations. Your friend is simply busy at work. Their phone battery died. They are dealing with a family matter. These impressions are just as plausible, yet they do not carry the same emotional charge. By withholding your assent from the initial, negative story, you prevent the anxiety from ever taking root. The external event remains the same, the unanswered text, but your internal world remains calm and undisturbed. This is the very heart of equanimity. It is not about suppressing emotion, but about cutting off the fuel supply to irrational thoughts before they can ever blaze into full-blown distress. What is one common false impression you often accept without question? Is it the belief that a minor mistake makes you a failure, or the feeling that a critical comment from one person means everyone thinks poorly of you? Identify that one story this week, and the next time it appears, simply pause and withhold your immediate assent. See how much quieter your mind becomes when you stop agreeing with every alarm it sounds. Rigorous judgment trains your mind to question the stories it tells, but true resilience is built not just in the mind, but in the body. The 10th ritual takes you into the heart of this training, a practice known as voluntary discomfort. This is the deliberate choice to experience minor, controlled hardships in your daily life. It could be taking a cold shower, skipping a meal, walking instead of driving, or sleeping on a firmer surface. The goal is not self-punishment or masochism. It is a form of inoculation. By willingly embracing small discomforts, you build a powerful immunity to the fear of future hardship. The Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus was a strong proponent of this, arguing that practicing poverty is the only way to become truly fearless of it. He said, "How could a person become hardy if he has not been in the habit of enduring cold and heat, and of being thirsty and hungry?" You are not trying to make your life miserable. You are conducting a series of small experiments to prove to yourself, beyond any doubt, that you can handle difficulty. When you choose to walk through a chilly park without a jacket, you are not just feeling the cold, you are having a conversation with your own comfort. You are demonstrating that the sensation of cold is bearable, that it is temporary, and that your spirit is stronger than your body's immediate desire for warmth. This practice systematically dismantles the power that external comforts hold over your peace of mind. If you know you can survive and even thrive without constant ease, then the loss of that ease in a real crisis will not break you. You have already faced a version of it and emerged unscathed, stronger for the experience. A simple way to start is with your next meal. Choose to have a plain, simple bowl of rice or soup, savoring its basic nourishment without any extras. Or for just 1 minute at the end of your shower, turn the dial to cold. Stand in that discomfort and breathe through it. Notice that you are still there, you are still you, and you are perfectly okay. This small act of defiance against your own desire for constant comfort forges a core of steel within you, a quiet confidence that you can withstand far more than you ever believed possible. That core of steel is forged in the small discomforts we choose, but the ultimate test of our resolve lies in facing the one universal event we cannot control. The 11th ritual is the contemplation of your own mortality, a practice known as Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. This is not a morbid fixation on the end, but a profound tool for clarifying and energizing your life. The Stoics saw death not as a terrifying specter, but as the very boundary that gives life its shape and meaning. By keeping the finitude of our time at the forefront of our minds, we are jolted out of complacency. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this constantly, writing, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He saw death not as something to be feared, but as a natural function of the world, as simple and necessary as a ripened fruit falling from a tree. When you truly internalize that your time is limited and profoundly precious, the trivial dramas that once consumed you begin to lose their power. The sting of a casual insult, the frustration of a long line, the anxiety over a minor social slight, these things simply cannot maintain their grip on a mind that is consciously aware of its own expiration date. They are revealed for what they are, background noise in a symphony that has a final, beautiful note. This awareness instills a gentle but firm urgency. It asks you the most important question you will ever face. If you knew this was your last year, your last month, or even your last day, how would you live it? You would not waste it on bitterness, on holding grudges, on chasing shallow validations. You would prioritize love, you would speak your truth, you would appreciate the simple miracle of a sunset or a shared laugh. Memento Mori is the ritual that polishes the lens of your life, wiping away the dust of pettiness and bringing what is truly vital into sharp, brilliant focus. What one thing would you do differently tomorrow if you carried the quiet certainty of your own mortality in your heart? That space between an impression and your assent is where your power truly lives, and the 12th ritual teaches you how to physically inhabit it. This is the pause before reaction, a micro-ritual of immediate calm you can deploy in any heated moment. When an insult lands, when a plan collapses, when frustration boils over, your first and most important action is to do absolutely nothing. You insert a deliberate, conscious pause between the trigger and your response, creating just enough room for reason to override the raw impulse. Seneca, who wrote extensively on the corrosive nature of anger, observed its fleeting power. He noted no plague has cost the human race more dear, but he also revealed its secret weakness, stating, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Give it that first moment to settle, ask it to wait a while." Anger is like a fire that consumes its own source, and if you refuse to feed it in that initial second, it begins to starve. The practice itself is beautifully simple. The moment you feel that familiar surge of heat, that tightening in your chest, you commit to taking one single conscious breath before you speak or act. That is all. You do not need to meditate for an hour or leave the room. You just breathe in and breathe out, anchoring yourself in the physical sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. In that tiny window of a single breath, everything changes. The frantic, reactive part of your brain is forced to stand down for a moment, and the calmer, more rational prefrontal cortex gets a chance to step in. The urge to snap at a loved one, to send that fiery email, to make a hasty decision, loses its compulsive force. You are no longer a puppet being jerked by external strings. You become the one holding the strings, deciding what move to make next. Start by practicing this with minor irritations. When you spill coffee on your shirt, pause for one breath before you curse. When someone is slow in the checkout line, breathe before you sigh in exasperation. Each time you succeed, you are not just avoiding a minor conflict, you are strengthening a neural pathway of profound self-mastery. You are building a reflex of calm that will be there for you when the real storms hit. The next time you feel that jolt of anger or panic, remember Seneca's remedy. Do not try to fight the feeling, just ask it to wait for the duration of one single, quiet breath. See how that small space you create becomes the most powerful territory you will ever govern. That single breath of pause gives you the space to choose your response, but how do you fill that space with understanding instead of judgment? The 13th ritual offers a profound shift in perspective, the practice of Sympatheia, or the contemplation of interconnectedness. This Stoic concept invites you to see yourself not as an isolated individual battling a hostile world, but as a single, vital thread woven into the fabric of a larger, rational whole. Your frustrations with other people begin to dissolve when you realize that you are all part of the same human community, guided by the same shared spark of reason. Marcus Aurelius constantly returned to this idea to cultivate patience, reminding himself, we are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of upper and lower teeth. To act against one another, then, is contrary to nature, and it is acting against one another to be vexed and to turn away. He saw irritation at another's actions as a kind of rebellion against the natural order itself. When someone acts poorly with anger or ignorance, the Stoic response is not to meet their fire with your own, but to understand that they are operating from a flawed perception of what is good. They are mistaken, not evil. Their harmful action is a symptom of their own internal confusion, a failure to see the world as it truly is. This does not mean you become a doormat or excuse toxic behavior, but it does mean you can respond from a place of calm principle rather than reactive anger. Think of a recent conflict that left you feeling frustrated, perhaps a co-worker who took credit for your idea or a family member who made a cutting remark. Now, for just a moment, step into their world, see the situation through their eyes. What fear might be driving their behavior? A desperate need for recognition. A deep-seated insecurity. They are not a villain in your story. They are a confused human being doing what they believe in that moment will bring them some sense of good. This ritual does not ask you to approve of their actions, but to understand their humanity. By contemplating our shared nature, the sharp edges of your frustration are smoothed away, replaced by a patient, resilient calm. You can address the problem without being consumed by it, because you see the other person not as an obstacle, but as a fellow traveler who has simply lost their way. This inner citadel is not a physical place, but a profound metaphor for the fortress of your own character. The 14th ritual is the conscious act of retreating into this space of unshakable virtue and reason whenever the outside world becomes too chaotic. Marcus Aurelius described this sanctuary with perfect clarity, writing, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your inner citadel is built from the principles you choose to dwell upon, and it remains a place of perfect safety that no external event can ever breach." While you cannot control the storms that rage outside the walls, you have absolute sovereignty over what happens within them. This is the source of a truly radical form of invulnerability. Your reputation might be attacked, your possessions might be lost, your body might fall ill, but the core of who you are, your integrity, your judgment, and your will, can remain untouched and uncorrupted if you choose to guard them there. Think of it as your private, mental stronghold. Its walls are built brick by brick from your commitments to wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. Its gates are guarded by your disciplined judgment, only allowing in thoughts that serve your peace. When you feel overwhelmed by criticism, instead of fighting it on its own terms, you simply turn and walk back inside your citadel. You close the heavy doors on the noise and find yourself in a quiet courtyard of calm self-possession. From this place of strength, you can observe the chaos outside without being consumed by it. The insults and setbacks are like arrows bouncing harmlessly off stone walls. They make a lot of noise, but they cannot reach the real you, the you that is making calm decisions and holding fast to what is good. The next time stress begins to mount, try this visualization. Close your eyes for just a moment and picture your personal fortress. See its sturdy walls, its quiet inner chambers. Feel the solid ground of your principles beneath your feet. Step inside and allow the frantic urgency of the situation to fade into a distant echo. You are safe here. From this calm center, you can now choose how or even if you will respond. What would it feel like to carry this unassailable peace with you into every single challenge? Your inner citadel offers sanctuary, but its walls are strengthened daily through a quiet conversation. This 15th ritual transforms the simple act of journaling into a profound philosophical dialogue. It is not a passive record of daily events, but an active tool for untangling the knots in your own thinking. You are engaging your wiser self in a conversation, challenging the irrational beliefs that cause you distress and methodically reinforcing the principles that bring you peace. Seneca beautifully captured this power in a letter to his friend Lucilius, writing, "We should hunt out the helpful pieces of teaching and the spirited and noble-minded sayings which are capable of immediate practical application, and learn them so that they may be ready at hand in any situation." When you write, you are hunting out these truths and making them your own. You externalize the swirling chaos of your inner world, laying it out on the page where you can examine it with calm objectivity. A frustrating encounter is no longer just a feeling of heat in your chest. It becomes a series of words you can analyze. Was my reaction proportionate? What story was I telling myself about the other person's intentions? What would my wiser self have done in that same situation? This process of writing and questioning acts as a filter, catching the sediment of irrational fear and anger before it can cloud your judgment. The goal is not to produce elegant prose, but to achieve crystalline clarity in your own mind. You can start with the smallest of commitments, a single sentence each day. It could be a Stoic maxim you wish to remember, a single judgment you want to question, or one small victory for your character. Today, I successfully paused before responding in anger. Or today, I will remember that my peace does not depend on the weather. This one sentence becomes the anchor for your daily practice, a quiet moment of self-communion that slowly, steadily, builds the unshakable foundations of a calm mind. That inner dialogue you build through journaling points toward a guiding presence, a north star for your moral compass. The 16th ritual is the contemplation of the sage, a practice of modeling your actions after an idealized figure of wisdom and virtue. When you stand at a crossroads, confused by conflicting emotions or social pressures, you pose a simple but profound question to yourself. What would the sage do in this situation? The Stoic sage is the perfect embodiment of reason, someone who always acts with courage, justice, and complete self-control. While no human may ever fully attain this ideal, the act of striving toward it provides an unwavering standard for your own behavior. Epictetus directly advised his students to have the wisdom of Socrates constantly before their eyes. He said, "Set up a certain character and pattern for yourself, which you shall preserve when you are alone and when you are with others." This is not about blind imitation, but about internalizing the principles that a figure like Socrates represented. Imagine you are facing a difficult choice at work. A colleague has made a serious error that could harm a project, and you must decide whether to report it, potentially getting them in trouble, or to cover for them. Your own fear and loyalty might be at war. This is the moment to consult your inner sage. You step back from the turmoil and ask, what would a person of perfect wisdom and justice do? The answer becomes clearer. The sage would act for the greater good of the team and the project, but would do so with compassion and integrity. The sage would speak the truth, but not with malice or blame. This mental exercise cuts through the fog of your personal anxieties and attachments, guiding you toward a decision rooted in principle rather than panic. It elevates your perspective from what is easiest to what is right. So who is your personal model of wisdom? It might be a historical figure like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, a respected mentor, a fictional character, or even a composite of the best qualities you admire in others. The specific figure matters less than the virtues they represent to you. By keeping this model close, you never have to face a difficult choice alone. You always have a counsel of one, a voice of impeccable reason to consult when the path ahead seems clouded. This inner sage provides a compass for your choices, but what do you do when the path ahead is completely blocked? The 17th ritual is a form of mental alchemy, the practice of turning every obstacle into fuel. The Stoics saw an obstacle not as a roadblock, but as the road itself. It is the raw material you are given to practice your virtues, to demonstrate your character, and to forge a stronger version of yourself. Marcus Aurelius gave us the timeless formula for this transformation when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the core of the ritual. When a setback arises, you do not ask why this is happening to you. You ask what virtue this situation demands of you. An unfair criticism is not an attack. It is raw material for practicing humility and self-examination. A financial loss is not a ruin. It is raw material for practicing frugality and resilience. A difficult person is not a punishment. They are raw material for practicing patience and understanding. Every single barrier is secretly an invitation to grow. Consider a modern professional setback. Imagine you have worked for months on a proposal for a major promotion, pouring your energy and creativity into it. The day arrives, you present your work with confidence, and you are told the company has decided to give the role to an external candidate. The first, raw impression is one of crushing defeat, a story that you are not good enough, that your hard work was wasted. This is where you perform the alchemy. You catch that impression and you reframe it. This rejection is not a barrier to your career. It is the way your career progresses now. What virtue does this situation offer you a chance to practice? It offers resilience, the chance to get back up and continue. It offers objectivity, the opportunity to calmly ask for feedback and identify genuine areas for improvement. It might even offer courage, the bravery to consider if you are on the right path altogether, perhaps sparking the idea to start your own venture. The obstacle, the rejection itself, becomes the very thing that forces you to develop greater skill, deeper character, and a clearer vision. The setback did not stop you, it redirected you onto a more authentic path. This is how you turn leaden disappointments into golden opportunities. You stop seeing the world as something that happens to you and start seeing it as a gymnasium for your soul, where every heavy weight is a gift designed to make you stronger. Your inner citadel is built upon a single, crucial discipline, the ritual of mastering what you truly want. This is the Stoic practice of aligning your desires with nature itself, a radical recalibration of what you seek from the world. The goal is to want only what is virtuous and entirely within your power, freeing yourself from the exhausting turmoil of craving external validation, wealth, or fleeting pleasures. The philosopher Epictetus framed this with stunning clarity when he warned, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." He argued that if you desire money, you have handed control of your happiness to bankers and markets. If you crave public approval, you have made yourself a slave to the fickle opinions of strangers. Every external desire is a chain you willingly fasten to your own soul. The discipline of desire is the conscious act of breaking those chains by wanting only what you can never be denied: your own integrity, your reasoned choices, your commitment to justice. Imagine the profound peace of a person who no longer desperately needs a promotion to feel worthy or a new possession to feel complete. Their sense of value is generated internally from their own virtuous actions. They engage with the world, they pursue goals, but their happiness is not held hostage by the outcome. They work for the success of a project because it is the right thing to do, not because they need the title that comes with it. They enjoy a good meal but do not suffer without one. This is not a life of deprivation, but one of immense liberation. Your desires are no longer scattered to the winds of chance, but anchored firmly in the one territory you command, your own character. So what is one external desire that currently causes you a low hum of anxiety? Is it the yearning for a specific person's affection, the craving for a higher social status, or the need for a particular financial outcome? Examine that desire today. Ask yourself, is this within my complete control? If the answer is no, then consciously choose to release your emotional grip on it. Redirect that energy toward the one thing you can always control: your effort, your attitude, your virtue. This is how you stop being a beggar at fortune's door and become the unshakable master of your own home. Liberation from desire clears the space for a different kind of power, one found not in chasing but in fully inhabiting the moment before you. The 19th ritual is the practice of mindful engagement with your present task, a discipline of singular focus that silences the noise of past regrets and future anxieties. You treat whatever you are doing, no matter how mundane, as the most important thing in the world, because in that moment it is. Your entire being is poured into the action at hand, anchoring your mind firmly in the tangible reality of the here and now. Seneca captured the profound peace of this practice when he advised, "The mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break." We must go for walks out of doors so that the mind can be strengthened and invigorated by a clear sky and plenty of fresh air. At times it will acquire fresh energy from a journey by carriage and a change of scene. Or we may spend our time on country pursuits. He understood that true mental rest comes not from distraction, but from a complete absorption in a simple, present moment activity. This is how you build a fortress of calm in the middle of a chaotic day. The act of washing a dish, for instance, becomes a meditation. You feel the warmth of the water on your skin. You notice the shimmer of the soap bubbles. You focus on the circular motion of the sponge. You are not just cleaning a plate, you are training your mind to reside in the present. The frantic thoughts about a looming deadline or a past argument find no foothold here because all of your attention is commandeered by the simple sensory reality of the task. The same principle applies to writing a report. You are not thinking about how your boss will receive it or how it stacks up against your colleague's work. Your entire world narrows to the next sentence, the search for the right word, the flow of your own thoughts onto the page. In this state of deep focus, anxiety cannot survive because anxiety is always a phantom of the future or a ghost from the past. It has no substance in the present moment. The task itself becomes your sanctuary. Choose one ordinary activity today to perform with this level of complete attention. It could be drinking your morning coffee, feeling the warmth of the mug, savoring the aroma and the taste, and doing nothing else. It could be tying your shoes, fully conscious of the movement of your fingers. By immersing yourself in the simple mechanics of the present, you are not avoiding your responsibilities. You are building the focused, calm mind you will need to meet them. What mundane act will you transform into your personal ritual of peace today? This final ritual brings all the others together in a single, liberating act of release. You have done the work, you have set your intention, and you have focused your mind. Now you must let the results take care of themselves. This is the Stoic art of letting go of the outcome, the practice of separating your effort from the reward. Your only true responsibility is to perform your part with excellence and integrity, to play the game to the best of your ability. The final score, however, is not in your hands. The philosopher Epictetus offered a perfect analogy for this. He said, "Remember that you ought to behave in life as you would at a banquet. Something is passed around and comes to you. Reach out your hand and take a portion politely. It passes, do not detain it, or it has not come to you yet. Do not project your desire toward it, but wait until it comes to you." He was teaching us to engage with the process, not to cling to the prize. Think of an archer. She can control everything within her power. She can choose the finest bow. She can practice for thousands of hours. She can wait for the wind to settle, and she can take careful aim. She pulls the string and releases the arrow with perfect form. But the moment that arrow leaves her bow, it is gone. A sudden gust of wind, a moving target, a flaw in the arrow's shaft, any of these can send it off course. A Stoic archer judges her success not by whether she hits the target, but by the quality of her shot. She did her part flawlessly, and that is where her control and her self-worth rightfully ends. To do otherwise is to chain your inner peace to 1,000 unpredictable variables, guaranteeing a life of frustration. Can you recall a time when you were so fixated on a specific result that the entire process became a source of anxiety? Perhaps it was a job interview where you desperately needed the offer to validate your skills. Your need for that yes poisoned the conversation, making you nervous and less authentic. Or maybe it was a first date where you were already imagining a future together, creating so much pressure that you could not simply be present and enjoy the other person's company. Attachment to the outcome transforms a meaningful action into a tense gamble, where your happiness is wagered on a single roll of the dice. But when you release that grip, you reclaim your freedom. You can walk into that interview focused only on presenting your honest capabilities. You can go on that date with the simple intention of having a good conversation. The outcome, whatever it may be, loses its power to devastate you because your worth was never on the line, only your sincere effort was. This is the ultimate expression of the dichotomy of control in action. You pour your soul into the work, and then you open your hands and let the world decide what happens next. The calm that follows is not one of indifference, but of profound and unshakable peace. These 20 rituals are not a checklist to be completed, but a single, interlocking system for constructing your inner fortress. Each practice reinforces the others, from the morning intention that sets your course to the evening review that corrects it, all held together by the unshakable truth that our peace is an inside job. We exhaust ourselves trying to control the stormy seas around us, when the real work is learning to steady the ship from within. Seneca captured this ultimate goal with perfect clarity when he wrote, "A mind that is at peace, a mind that is centered and not scattered, is a greater asset than any physical power in the universe." This tranquility is the fruit of an ordered mind, a mind that has been trained through daily ritual to find its strength not in what happens, but in how it chooses to meet whatever happens. You now hold the complete blueprint. The final step is yours to take. Which one of these 20 rituals will you commit to practicing for the next 7 days? Will it be the single breath of pause before you react, the morning intention that guides your day, or the loving acceptance of a single, stubborn obstacle? Choose just one and begin building your citadel today. If this path to unshakable calm resonates with you, subscribe for more practical Stoic wisdom to guide your journey.